Hello everyone, welcome to your advanced English listening practice. On this podcast, you learn English in a way that helps you improve your life through self-improvement, personal growth, and a mindset for success built into every lesson. Whether you're preparing for the IELTS or TOEFL exam, or learning English for academic, professional, or personal development, this lesson is designed for you. My name is Neil and I absolutely love teaching English. In my journey as a teacher, I've seen how language can transform not just the way we communicate, but also how we think, how we grow, and how we see the world. On this podcast, I speak with a British accent. You might be wondering which accent is better. American, Australian, Indian, South African? The truth is, every accent has value. What truly matters is your ability to express meaning clearly. Communication is not about sounding perfect. It's about connection, clarity, and confidence. Today you'll learn through two powerful wisdom stories. These stories will challenge your listening skills and encourage you to think more deeply. At the end, we'll explore some useful vocabulary to help you expand your English and use new words more naturally. Now here's how to practice. First, listen all the way through without stopping. Focus on the overall meaning. Second, listen again and notice new words, expressions and sentence patterns. Third, repeat key sentences out loud to build fluency and confidence. Finally, reflect on the message because real learning happens when language connects with meaning. In today's episode, you'll hear two wisdom stories. The first is called The Cup That Was Already Full. The second is called The Man Who Waited for the Perfect Time. Take a moment, stay present. You're about to challenge your English, and I think you're going to enjoy this. Let's begin. The first story is called The Cup That Was Already Full. Oliver had always been certain of one thing. He was always right. He had built his identity around knowledge. Degrees, books, debates, he collected them all, not just to understand the world, but to define himself within it. People respected him for his sharp mind. They listened when he spoke. And so, over time, he stopped listening. Not consciously, not deliberately, but gradually, quietly, he began to hear only what confirmed what he already believed. Yet beneath that certainty, something unsettled him. Conversations felt repetitive. Ideas felt predictable. Nothing truly surprised him anymore. It was as though the world had become smaller. One day, out of a vague dissatisfaction he couldn't quite explain, Oliver sought out an old teacher, no, not for his knowledge, but for his clarity. When he arrived, Oliver spoke at length. "I've studied extensively," he said. "Philosophy, science, human behaviour. I understand how people think, how systems work, but I feel limited, as if something is missing." The teacher listened without interruption. Then quietly, he poured tea into a small cup. The tea reached the brim and continued. It spilled over the edges, dripping onto the table. Oliver frowned. "You're wasting it." The teacher said nothing. "Stop," Oliver insisted. "The cup is full." Only then did the teacher look at him. "Yes," he said, "and so are you." The words were simple, but they did not pass easily. "You believe your knowledge gives you clarity," the teacher continued, "but it has begun to limit you. You no longer see what you see, only what you expect." Oliver felt a subtle resistance rise within him. "I'm open to learning," he replied. The teacher shook his head gently. "No, you are open to confirming." Silence followed. And in that silence, something uncomfortable began to surface. For the first time, Oliver noticed the weight of his own certainty, the way it filtered everything, shaped everything, confined everything. If you wish to see more, the teacher said softly, you must first accept how little you truly see. Oliver looked at the overflowing cup, not as a mistake, but as a mirror. And in that moment he understood something deeper than knowledge. A full mind leaves no room for truth. So, listeners, let me ask you, what are you holding on to right now that might be filling your mind? What beliefs, assumptions, or certainties are leaving no space for something new? Take a moment and reflect. If you feel comfortable, you can share your thoughts or realizations. Sometimes expressing an idea helps you understand it more clearly. All right, now let's move on to the next story. This story is called The Man Who Waited for the Perfect Time. Ethan was not lazy. In fact, he was thoughtful, careful, perhaps too careful. He had plans, clear ones, meaningful ones. He wanted to build something of his own, a life that reflected who he truly was, not just what was expected of him, but he was waiting. Waiting until he felt ready, waiting until the risk felt smaller, waiting until he was certain. And so, he prepared. He read, he researched, he refined his ideas, but he did not begin. Years passed, not dramatically, not suddenly, but quietly. Opportunities appeared and passed. Ideas evolved and faded. The future he imagined remained just that, imagined. One evening, while walking through his neighborhood, he noticed an older man sitting alone on a bench, watching the sunset with quiet attention. There was something steady about him, not impressive, not extraordinary, but complete. Ethan sat beside him. "You seem at peace," he said. "How did you get there?" The man smiled faintly. "I stopped negotiating with time," he replied. Ethan turned slightly. "What does that mean?" "It means," the man said, "I stopped waiting for life to become easier before I decided to live it." Ethan was silent. "I used to believe I needed certainty," the man continued. "But certainty is not something you find before action. It's something you build through it." The words landed with quiet precision. "All the time you spend waiting," the man said, "but it carries a hidden cost." "What cost?" Ethan asked. "The cost of the life you could have lived." Ethan felt that not as a dramatic realization, but as something heavier, more real, a quiet accumulation of delay. "You don't need the perfect moment," the man said. "You need a real one." That night, Ethan didn't make a grand decision. He didn't transform instantly, but he did something different. He began, imperfectly, uncertainly, but honestly. And in doing so, he discovered something most people never realize. Clarity doesn't come before you act. It comes from taking action. All right, listeners, now take a moment. Let me ask you, where in your life are you holding on to certainty, and where are you waiting instead of beginning? Pause and think about it for a second. All right, now let's learn some new words from today's practice. First word, certainty, meaning complete confidence or lack of doubt. Example, he was waiting for certainty before making a move. Next word, confined, meaning restricted or limited. Example, his thinking had become confined by his own beliefs. Word number 3, resistance, meaning a feeling of opposition or unwillingness. Example, she felt resistance when faced with change. Next word, refined, meaning improved and developed carefully. Example, he refined his ideas but never acted on them. Word number 5, accumulation, meaning a gradual gathering over time. Example, success is often the accumulation of small efforts. And lastly, clarity, meaning clear understanding. Example: with action comes clarity. All right, listeners, choose 1 or 2 words and use them in your own sentences. Comment and share your answers. We would love to read your realizations. Keep practicing, keep listening. This is Neil, and I'll see you in the next episode.